What's going on? Brian Reynolds back with another video. It will actually not be a 450 SS video. I did do something on the go-kart, but it's just a minor little brace, so not really worth making a video of. But it's a Monday morning, by the way, and on my way to work this morning, I was pulling out of the driveway and I heard a very interesting noise. It just kind of made a funny noise. Wasn't quite sure what it was. I'm actually gonna put the car in neutral and I'll spin this wheel on the Audi, of course, and you'll kind of know what that noise is. All right, so we have the car in neutral, and I don't know if you can hear that, but it sure does not sound good. So it is several days later. Had to take a day off, wasn't feeling good, but I'm gonna put this clip in front of all the other clips, because don't do what I did and take everything apart and then try to get that center bolt out. The center bolt should be the first thing you do before the car is even touched. Take off that little center cap, your little center cap you got, and take off that bolt while the car's on the ground and you haven't touched anything, but take off that cover and then get that bolt off. I had to like stand on it with the breaker bar. I have like a little extendable breaker bar. I had to stand on this and literally hop up and down to get it to finally break loose. I put WD-40 and I put heat on it, and it still took that much work. Alright, so we got the wheel off. I already used the breaker bar to loosen the two caliper bolts. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and loosen these up, get the caliper out the way, and I'm honestly curious to see what the back brake pad looks like, because with the back brake pad it kind of looks funny, and I am pretty low on my brakes, so fingers crossed that maybe it's something to do with the brake pad and there isn't a problem with my bearings. Highly unlikely, but you know, wishful thinking. If you were wondering what faults will come up, I'll just let it play through. So yeah, those are the faults you'll end up getting. Of course, it's like a Christmas tree in there now. And the most wonderful part about it is your cruise control will not work again. Well, at least until you fix it, I assume. So I will go ahead and just get this wheel off. Kind of just disassemble as much as I can. I'm gonna plan on just taking the 450 to work every day this week and just kind of keep the car on jack stands and work on it as the week goes on. It's a nice after work project. To remember about these bolts, you'll take one out right here, and one is kind of tucked in here in the middle. Is the long one is the top, short is the bottom. So I did it off camera, but I just sprayed a little bit of WD-40 in these holes and took this rubber mallet and literally just kept hitting around here. Just kept hitting it until the rotor finally fell off. Last time I tried to do this, I was not that lucky, so I would probably add about 30 minutes of beating on it and then do the 20 minutes I just did, and you may be able to get off this rotor. Because you got to think, this car is 11 years old now. The rotors have never been changed. So I may or may not, depending on how hard the hub or the bearing itself is, I may or may not just do all four while I'm at it. Alright, so now we are at the point where I was, but then I had to put everything back together, film the first clip, and then now we're here. Of course, now this is loose, so I can go ahead, spin this puppy all the way out, and then the goal will be to get the four on the back. I will say, I've already tried. They're kind of, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to tell, but I've kind of mangled them a little bit. And since I've mangled them a little bit, you may notice my spring is missing, because I am actually going to take everything apart and just take off this whole entire middle piece, and then I'm just going to have this like on the porch and actually be able to get to those without any difficulty, because I don't really feel like stripping those out and then have to figure out a different way of getting those bolts out, because this is aluminum on steel, so it's already going to be kind of annoying. So wish me luck. I'm taking all this off. Right, so use the 21 to get the strut bolt out. Of course, got that out. Then this, I forgot what size bolt that was, but it was one of those weird ones. Let me grab it real quick. One of those with the splines in it. Got that one off. Got this bolt off. Got that long bolt off. It actually is long as crap, and I don't know where the little spacer went, which that might be a problem in the future. But there is a spacer that goes in this spot right here. But as you see, I got it off. Here you can see the wonderful bolts I need to get out. I'm gonna move over to the porch, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started on getting this back out. Say it now, I 100% recommend just taking this whole section off, and don't even try to get these bolts from the backside. You're gonna save yourself so much headache, unless your car is like fairly new. There's no way, because like these I did not even touch when I was trying to get it from on the car, but these came off so easy, it was ridiculous. And this, as you see, I had to actually drill them out, and I've just now got this one loose, and I have one more to go. And once I finish getting this one off, of course, hopefully this thing just pops right off, and then I'll be able to just replace the bearing. And then I just have to reverse everything I did, and I'll be ready to go to work tomorrow. Because one of the things that worries me is it's gonna rain tomorrow. If I have to take the 450, it's gonna suck. Got the last one loose, and I love when things work out. Look what's already loose. So this is about to be a quick little get this done fast, because I won't be able to just pop everything back together and get the car together. Spirits are back high. We're gonna get this done. So we got the old bearing out. Just for giggles, I want y'all to listen to this. It is horrible. I hope that comes out on camera, because that is ridiculous. This one, I mean, of course, it's kind of harder to spin, but it is so smooth, so buttery smooth. I'm gonna clean this up, because it's kind of gunky from the WD-40 and whatnot I used. I'm gonna clean all this gunk up, pop on that new one, and we're good to go. So we got the new ones nice and bolted in. The hub is in place. Now I'm gonna, of course, unclamp it, bring it over to the car, which I don't think I've shown the car in a little while, but this is what it looks like without anything on there. Of course, gotta love it. I'm gonna bring the whole assembly over here. I'm gonna try to get the spring in first, because that's probably gonna be the most difficult thing to try to get back in place. And probably need to line up the axle along that too. But you know, it'll be a learning experience. I might prop up the GoPro so I can get that on camera, because that might be funny to watch. Alright, so we're gonna put all these things back together. Make sure to put the rubber spacer in, put the lovely spring in, because of course, like I said, I'm gonna try to get the spring and the hub and everything in place at the same time. Not sure how well this is gonna work, but I'll give it a try. I haven't thought this through. I'm just gonna do it. Just realized my arm was probably in the way. I'm not quite sure if I can actually do this, but oh man, this little thing is in the way now. Oh, I might, doing the spring at the same time might not be the best idea. Just gonna go ahead and try it like that. Oh well, that might have something to do with it too. Not enough clearance over here. Try to get the axle in place. Not sure if that's in place or not, but probably should. I'm gonna clean up these splines a little bit, so hopefully that can fit in better. Frustrated. I'm not gonna prop up the camera. It's kind of hard to do and be in a timely manner to be on camera, because this is a pain. I went ahead and got this top one in, because you gotta wedge in. There's probably not enough light. Let me get the light. It's starting to get a little darker in out here, but you gotta get that little spacer in place. And to get that little spacer in place is kind of hard, because it wedges in between the little under control, like the lower control arm, and then the knuckle itself. So it's kind of, or I guess not the knuckle, but this itself. So it's kind of a pain. I'm gonna have to take this bolt off, because the wire and the line go underneath this. But I'm gonna just try to get that spacer in place and get this long bolt on, get the spring back in, and then we should be good to go. Starting to fight the light a little bit. Of course, I got this bolt all the way through, got the nut on. Now I'm gonna take this back out and tilt it forward. Hopefully I can tilt it enough to get the spring in. I'm really worried about getting the spring back in. That's probably gonna be the next thing to hold me up, but you know, it is what it is. I'll figure it out. You can see, if you have stock suspension, I really wish you luck doing it this way, because as you see, I had to use a pry bar to wedge down on the spring just to get it over that little hump. But of course, now it is in place. We're good. Now it's time to button up everything. Start off, of course, I gotta move this caliper. I'm gonna probably go ahead and mount the caliper, just because it'll be easier. Get the rotor back on. Once I get the rotor back on, I will put the wheel on and tighten this last little bolt. Once this little bolt's on, but of course I'm gonna do little clips every single step. Just get this on, get the bracket on, get this little arm on, and just button up everything, make sure everything's tight. So we got this bolt back in. I got that long bolt tightened. I got this one tightened. The last step will be getting the nice suspension bolt, or the shock bolt, back in. Once I get the shock bolt back in, I'll mount the rotor, then the caliper, and mount the tire. And again, the last step will be tightening that bolt. Alright, so we got the rotor back on, got everything mounted. All the bolts are nice and tight. The only thing I have left is I need to mount the speed sensor, which goes right there, and then mount that little bracket there, plug the speed sensor back in, and we'll be back in business. Put on the tire and then tighten the bolt. So as you see, got the wheel on, got everything back on. I'm actually at work, so I'm wrapping another video here at work on my lunch break. Everything is back in place. The only thing I have to do is bleed the brakes because my brake pedal is pretty squishy at the moment, but it still works. So with time being, there you go. That's how to replace a wheel bearing on an Audi. It's not the most ideal way to do it, but I got it done. Thank you for watching.